Hi, this is Roland, host of the Shedding Shackles radio program. God did not leave us without help. He has provided for us something very wonderful. It's called spiritual light. Paul said that God, who made the light shine out of darkness, sends light to us, light for our eyes and spiritual light. Christ brought light into the world. He established the kingdom of God. And now there is light for us, but you must access the light. You must find the light. And God has given us a little something that helps you to do that. You see, right now, if you're like most people, you are lost in your thoughts, lost in daydreams and fantasies and worries and thinking about what you did and what you have to do and all that stuff. Well, when you're lost down in those thought processes, you have fallen away from the light. And then you become subject to what can approach you from down there. See, have you ever wondered why people suffer dark thoughts, negative thoughts, gloomy thoughts, doubts and fears? It leads them into despair and hopelessness. Where do those thoughts come from? Where does that darkness come from? It comes from the outside. It comes from the one who was in the Garden of Eden on the outside. Remember? The serpent was on the outside. And he made his appeal and Adam fell. But then that voice of the serpent, that permissive voice, that scary voice, that arbitrary voice, that pressuring voice, that challenging voice and teasing voice, it gets on the inside. And then once it's on the inside, then it becomes a false conscience, and it drives you the rest of your life. You think it's you, but it's not you. It's from the outside. And with it comes an atmosphere of darkness and doom and gloom and all that stuff. You must come out of that. All you have to do is come out of it. That's all you have to do. Well, if you can find the secret to getting out of those dark thoughts and gloomy thoughts and lying thoughts, and yeah, it wants to dominate you, and it will also come along with pleasant thoughts and rosy images and nice things that it uses to lull you. See, it lulls you with its words, outside or in the mind. On the sounding board of the mind, it lulls you with words. It frightens you with words, and it lulls you and appeases you with words. And you think it's you, but it's not you. But there it is. So you just have to be able to stand back from it. Stand back. And just watch it from the distance so that whatever it says becomes just empty, useless, meaningless stuff that doesn't have any value for you, and you have no interest in it. See? It always makes its appeal to your ego, doesn't it? It seems to attack you personally. Have you ever wondered? I remember one time when I was in junior high school, I sang in the chorus. And one day, the chorus leader of the class was gone, and so he turned it over to one of the students, one of the older students in the chorus. And he took charge, but before you know it, everything became totally weird, and before you know it, everybody was picking on me, and suddenly I was called forth, and I had to go up front, and I was accused of something, and they made me sing for them, and they laughed and laughed, and I was like a scapegoat, and I couldn't understand that. I didn't resent it. That was my safety. See, God gave that to me. He gave me the ability. He somehow made it so that I would not become resentful. So it wasn't a trauma. But I do remember that it happened, and I couldn't understand it, But now I understand it. See, there was in me a little something good, a little something, and one day I would be called of God. And those who are of the dark order, who are destined for not the good, but for bad, they somehow sensed it, and I became the scapegoat. It's always that way. The one who sees the most clearly in the family is the one that's picked on. The one who is the most innocent is picked on. The one who hasn't done anything wrong is accused of having done something. It's always that way. So you just have to see that that's the way it is. But you see, the evil one, or the voice of folly, the voice of folly, it knows how to appeal to you, doesn't it? It seems to know all about you, and it says just the thing that is designed to try to get to you. Well, you just have to see what that voice is up to, and then just don't fall for it anymore. Don't let it get to you anymore. Don't become upset by it. Don't struggle with it. Don't get angry at it. Just let it go in one ear and out the other, like it was just useless, empty talk. Like a television at the other end of the room just blaring away with some B movie at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's just blaring away, and you don't even pay attention to it. Now, as I said, God has given us a little tool, a very simple way of getting back in touch with His light. You see, the body has a life, doesn't it? The body has a life. And animals and plants have a kind of a life too, don't they? And there's a sort of a spirit that dwells in living beings. And somehow there's a change that occurs when an animal dies, or even a bug. One moment the bug is alive, and the next moment it's not alive. And something has departed from it. But the body has a life, and the body's life is taking in food, taking in good nutrients, and then they become a part of the body, don't they? And the soul also must take in spiritual nutrients. The soul must take in truth. Truth is what the soul thrives on and what the soul needs. The soul must live in an atmosphere of truth and of love. Yes, truth and love. But alas, on the outside, people don't have love. Yes, they have what passes for love, but it's not the kind of love the soul needs. And out in the world, what do you get out there? You get lies. You get half-truths. You get propaganda. You get the narrative. You get deceit. You get exploitation. And even the decent people who want to say good things, they say good things, and it's nice, but something is still missing, isn't it? What's missing is God's light in it, the truth in it. See, what the soul needs is God Himself. He is our atmosphere, His love, His indwelling, the inbreathing of the Holy Spirit. Those are what the soul needs. But now, when the soul falls into thinking and falls into emotions and falls away from the light through doubt and through resenting other people, see, they get to you. See, the wrong in them gets to you, and then you resent them, and then you fall away from the light. And then you're stuck down in your thoughts. So now all you have to do is come back to the inner light, and God gives you a little something, a very simple way. And you know what it is? All you have to do is go in your room and close the door and sit in a chair, or go sit on your sofa, or go sit out on the porch in a chair, or sit anywhere, where you can be quiet and peaceful and you don't have to do anything, where you can just sit quietly. And then you can close your eyes. And as soon as you close your eyes, what do you see? You see light on the inside of your eyelids, little pixels of light on the inside of your eyelids. It's like your forehead. It's like your forehead has light on it, little patterns of light. Just look at that light. Observe it. Watch it. Watch that light, that delicate glow of light, those patterns of light. At the same time, become aware of your hand, maybe your right hand. Become aware of it. Just notice it. Feel it tingle a little bit when you notice it. And now the light. That light that you see on your forehead, that you see on the inside of your eyelids, that is actually spiritual light from your Creator. You must live in that light. Walk in that light. Love that light. And you will totally recover from all your afflictions. And you will see the truth, and you will discern error, and you will be safe, and your family will be safe. It's very important. And all the darkness will become just a bad dream that you had, and it will be no longer relevant. What will be relevant is God's light and the wonderful joy and discoveries that you make in His light. You must find it. And how do you do that? You close your eyes, look at the inside of your eyelids, and see God's spiritual light. You know that He is sending you light. He makes the light shine out of darkness. And now you have that light. And just notice your hand. Let it tingle a little bit. And the light extends from your forehead to your hand, and then to your whole body. Practice this little exercise for a couple of minutes, first thing in the morning, and then again at noon, and then in the evening, or at odd moments throughout the day when you have a little bit of time, even a minute. Close your eyes. Look at the inside of your eyelids and see that spiritual light. And then when thoughts arise, which they will, thoughts will arise, they will try to pull you into them. And once in a while they do, they pull you in. Then all of a sudden you just notice that you were pulled into a thought and you snap out. And then you see the pixels of light again and notice your hand. It's that simple. And now for the rest of your life, it'll be just a process of snapping out. Every time you snap out of the daydream, you're back in reality again. And something of the light filters into you. Every time that happens, you're a little closer to God. You're a little more enlightened. You'll see things a little more clearly. And He will reveal Himself to you ever so slowly, ever so gently. He will reveal Himself to you, and Christ will reveal Himself to you. Now, just yearn for that light. Love that light. Live in that light. And when you're out walking around, let's say you're out for a nice little walk. As you're walking, you can also be aware of your hands. As you're walking, just feel your hands so they tingle a little bit. That also helps to remind you. See, it's a little conditioning process. Your Creator has given you a conditioning process so you can learn to access His light and become in touch with it right away. And it's a reminder when you notice your hands. It reminds you of your Creator. It reminds you of Christ. It reminds you that you want to do what's right in your heart. It reminds you to wait upon the Lord. And if you don't know what to do, wait until you know. Somehow in your heart, wordlessly, you know. All of these are wonderful gifts that He gives you, that He promised. They will come from God, and they will be good, and your life will change for the better forevermore.